Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Connell, founder of Boston Making a Difference, here with another edition of BMAD Spotlight. And today with us, we have a funny man and a magician. His name is Malik Haddadi. His company is Unconventional Productions. And he's here with us to cheer us up in these pandemic times. How are we doing today, Malik?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm great. Tell me, what's a magician doing during these pandemic times? What are you doing to keep yourself busy and out of trouble?
Well, fortunately, I was able to pretty early get on the concept of online shows and performing for virtual events. So I've done, at this point, probably 15 or 20 of those for various clients, various setups and organizations. I did a few just for my own gratification and for practice, really, right at the beginning of this. And then some of my clients have sponsored some shows, and I've done a few appearances at like some business meetings, both performing and speaking. And one I did an MC, some MC duties for them. So that's been mostly what I've been doing from a performing standpoint. And then I've been taking some of my downtime to really work on education, getting better at my own craft and learning some new skills and that kind of thing. So
that's great. That's what I've been doing as well. This is a time to reflect, but also to learn. I've been spending time doing some personal development programs that are really good, and I wouldn't ordinarily have this time. So there's blessings behind everything, right? That's the way we have to look at it.
Yeah. And the good thing is, it's never been cheaper to work on your education, between library resources and the fact that so many online courses now are either cheap or free. It's really a good time to take advantage of that. And Jim Rohn always said, if you want to make more money, learn a new skill. So I'm trying to do that.
Well, that's good for you. So how has this pandemic affected you as far as canceled events or rescheduled events? And what do you see, as we start to reopen, what do you think will happen as far as the types of events you'll see and how they'll go?
So a lot of the events that I had on the books have either canceled or rescheduled. A couple of them have moved to virtual events. The events industry and entertainment industry is really going to be one of the hardest hit industries. There was an announcement by Microsoft, for instance, that all of their internal company events are going to be virtual only through the end of next year, not just the end of this year, but the end of next year. And events that were scheduled for the summer, a lot of my shows are institutional shows. So those organizations like libraries, museums, they're not even sure if they're going to be reopening yet. It's really, people are very gun shy to be scheduling anything. But there are some things coming along. I'm scheduled in July to work with a friend of mine down at Mohegan Sun, and they're going to be reopening the comedy club down there with some social distancing guidelines. And it's going to come back slowly, but the current state of the industry is that it's in pretty bad shape. And when we do come out the other side of this, it's never going to look like it did before. There's just going to be permanent changes that are going to be in place. So,
well, I think comedy is huge and important right now. People need humor. People need to be able to laugh. It's good for the soul. So why don't you share with us something, here that you can show the audience a little bit of what you do to make us laugh?
Sure. Well, I'm a comedy magician, and I always I like to do this trick either as an intro piece or as a one-off piece, and it's special to me for one main reason. When I learned this as a kid, this is the very first trick I ever did that impressed my mother. Most of them she would be like, "Oh, go practice some more," or whatever. This is the very first trick I ever did that she was actually impressed by. So I've been doing it ever since. It's the trick I've been doing the longest. So here it is. And we need I thought I had a pocket there, but I don't. So We need a dollar bill, and you can see that nice and close in the camera there. Okay. And then the handkerchief is to signify the fact that when they make paper money in the United States, they put cloth fibers in the paper. You might have heard this before. I try to make my act informative as well as entertaining. I've learned the hard way, good looks and talent will only get you so far. Now, in my case, that's not very far. I don't know how they get the cloth fibers in there, but this is how I do it. We tuck them inside like this, see? And if we get them in far enough, it dissolves right into the paper, just like this, see? Kind of strange. Now, the thing is, normally I would have this verified that it's a regular dollar bill. In this case, you'll just have to take my word for it. But because it is a regular dollar bill, it had cloth fibers in it already, and I added more. Now it's unstable and it could fall apart. So we should probably take these out again. Let me back up a little bit so we stay better in frame, but I'll leave this here for just a second so I can show you what I used to call the long distance part of the trick. And then somebody pointed out it wasn't that long of a distance. So we tuck it in the hand just like this. You can see it's going in there right up until the very last second when it disappears, see? And it's back in here. It's just difficult to see. Trying to keep this, there we go.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Thanks. And, you know, that's my general presentation of that. But most of the work that I do for people now, for corporations, I'm customizing it. I'm putting their message in. You know, I rewrote a version of that for a financial planner I was doing some work for. You know, talking about the strength of money and how it's important.
Well, there's a fun group for you, the financial planners. Their conventions are a riot.
You know, it's funny. Every time I get called to work for a group, whether it's lawyers or financial planners or whatever, they'll either tell me one of two things. They will tell me this is going to be a boring group or this is going to be a wild group. Whatever they tell me, it's the exact opposite of whatever they tell me. Like whoever's booking it just always misinterprets or incorrectly assesses the nature of the group that I'm working for. And it's really funny. I did a thing for it was a social club consisting of a lot of attorneys, and they had a holiday party. They said, I don't know, this is a pretty wild bunch, and it was absolutely not the case at all. They were, you know, they were just chilling out, drinking their Manhattans and watching card tricks, and but financial planners are. It really has to do with the people themselves, you know.
That's awesome. I know, Malik, you know, you and your associate came out to our barbecue last summer, you know, that we raised some money for ALS, and you put on a great show, and you guys were the talk of the day. Everyone loved your performance. So who can you work with? Tell you know, the audience, you know, who's a good contact for you? Who do you work with? Is it just business? Is it, you know, family parties? You know, who's it you're looking to help out and make them laugh?
Okay, so the best clients for me right now, I'm doing a lot of work in the corporate sector. The last corporate gig I had before all this hit was I was in Dallas doing an event for Southwest Airlines, emceeing and performing at a one-day tech conference they were having. So I specialize in really customizing my work for my clients, making it meaningful and relevant for them, whether they're trying to get their message across to their prospects, their clients, their VIP, whoever they're trying to reach. I design and create custom material to help them do that. I also, most of the work that I do that we would call family work in my business is done for those institutions that I mentioned before, libraries, schools, museums. I still do some private work, but that's really on a by request basis. I'm not really marketing to that kind of work now. So most of that work now is from, so for instance, one of my corporate clients reached out to me and they were having an event for their family, like an extended family reunion. They wanted me to show up for that. So I can still do all that. It's part of my skill set, but it's just not where a lot of my marketing energy is focused right now. So
that's cool. Now, I'm in the same boat with you in a lot of things. My customers are mostly corporate clients, and a lot of event-based stuff I do, conferences and seminars and sporting events. So a lot of things I did got canceled, but I guess we have to pivot, reinvent ourselves, and be ready for the market that's coming. A little bit of uncertainty out there, but I look at it as an opportunity. The people that go out there and jump in and get in will have a lead on the market. So how could people get in touch with you, Malik?
So my website is upconventional.com. It's basically unconventional, but spelled with a P instead of an N. That's a good way to get in touch with me. My email's right on there. So that's usually the best way. And I answer all my own email. I answer my own phone. So if people want to talk to me about an event, if you have any questions, I also, sometimes people just call me to bounce ideas off me. We're putting this event together, and we're doing these things, and how should we handle the logistics of it. Sometimes I can give them advice on that as well. And I'm trying to approach this whole situation from a position of service. So somebody has any questions about their event or what's the best way to go about something, I'm always available and happy to help out. So
well, that's great. That's what BMAD Spotlight is all about, is talking to folks that are making a difference. Malik, you are making a difference. I hope things turn around for all of us soon. But, if you have one more magic trick in the bag, we'd be happy to see it. If not, maybe you could take my face that's more for radio and help me out and turn it into a face that's beautiful for TV.
I'm working on my own for that right now, but let me see if I can get this to work well for you in the camera. These are rubber bands. They're your standard garden variety rubber bands or office variety rubber bands. It's actually probably a little better if I back up this. How are those showing up for you, Mike? Can you see those all right?
Yeah, I can see them. Yep, they look good.
Okay. So the idea is that they're locked one inside the other, just like this, okay? We're locked in from the sides, the top, the bottom, and the middle. But if we find the soft spot, see they separate just with that. Let me try it again. See, we can't get out through the sides, the top, the bottom, or the middle. But watch, we find the soft spot, and there it is, just like that. And now you might have seen the trick on TV with the metal rings. They link them together. I don't know if you've seen that trick or not, but anyway, that trick's expensive. So we're going to do it with the rubber bands instead. Here we go. See, one right inside the other, just like that. And if you were here, I'd let you pull on that and see that that's one strand going right through the other. I don't actually do this too often because people think I'm showing off. I am showing off. Well, anyway, that's fine, but we'll separate that. And then here's my favorite one of all, the last one. We separate this just like before. Only this time, instead of getting them to come apart, we shrink this one down until it just goes away. And I lose a rubber band every time, but that's okay. Fortunately, they're cheap. So,
Malik, that's awesome. That looks like rubber bands follow the same laws that wires and cables do. They just get all tangled up without you doing anything to help them, and you've really literally got to be a scientist to get them untangled. But thank you so much for the entertainment and the laughs. People need that today, and Malik, be happy to have you on anytime here with BMAD Spotlight. For those of you out there who don't know Malik, again, contact him on his website, and he'd be happy to help you out with an event. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, see ya. Say goodbye, Malik.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, and be well.
Take care now.